Ladies and gentlemen, this might just be the moment that changes everything inside ESPN. Because when Stephen A. Smith, the biggest, loudest, and most controversial voice in sports, decided to call out Dawn Staley, he thought it would just be another heated debate. But what happened next rocked the entire network. Dawn Staley, the fearless South Carolina coach and one of the most respected figures in women's basketball, delivered an emotional, raw, and brutally honest response that left fans across the world speechless, and ESPN executives shaking behind the scenes. Welcome back to the channel, my people. If you love hearing the real stories behind the headlines, not the sugar-coated versions you see on TV, then you're in the right place. Before we dive in, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, tap the bell, and smash that like button so you never miss the truth when it breaks. Because today's episode is about pride, power, and a woman who refused to be silenced. It all began with a heated first take segment that was supposed to be about the state of the WNBA and the future of women's basketball. Stephen A. Smith, known for speaking his mind, took things one step too far when he said, Dawn Staley isn't growing the game, she's dividing it. She's making everything about gender and race instead of basketball. The studio went silent. Even his co-hosts looked stunned. And before the segment even ended, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube were already on fire. Fans called the comment arrogant, ignorant, and deeply disrespectful. People weren't just upset, they were furious. Within hours, #Stephen A. Smith was trending worldwide. Prominent athletes, coaches, and even journalists came to Staley's defense. Former WNBA star Lisa Leslie tweeted, Dawn has done more for women's basketball than anyone talking on TV ever will. And then, Dawn Staley herself decided to speak. But this wasn't your typical press statement. It was emotional. It was personal. And it hit like a thunderclap. At her next press conference, Dawn Staley's tone was calm, but her words cut deep. She said, I don't wake up every day thinking about dividing people. I wake up thinking about the girls who were told their dreams didn't matter. If standing up for them offends someone, then maybe they were never standing with us in the first place. You could feel the emotion in her voice. The press room was silent. Some reporters were visibly moved. And within minutes, that clip went viral. Millions of views across platforms. Athletes from every level shared it. Even non-sports fans were reposting it, calling it one of the most powerful statements ever made by a coach. Behind the scenes, things got ugly. ESPN execs were reportedly furious, not at Dawn, but at Stephen A. Multiple insiders claimed that producers were flooded with calls and emails from angry viewers, sponsors, and advocacy groups demanding accountability. One anonymous staff member reportedly said, it felt like the walls were closing in. The network couldn't contain the firestorm. This wasn't just bad PR, it was a credibility crisis. Stephen A. was pulled into emergency meetings, with top executives urging him to tone it down and issue a public apology. But those who know Stephen A. know he doesn't back down easily. When he finally spoke again on his show, he tried to clarify his comments. He said, I wasn't attacking Dawn Staley the person, I was critiquing her message. I respect her, but I stand by what I said. And that, right there, made things even worse. Fans flooded the live chat with anger. Comment sections blew up. And even ESPN colleagues like Malika Andrews and Chiny Ogwumike subtly pushed back, praising Staley's leadership and calling for more respect across the board. The narrative was clear, Dawn Staley had won the public's heart, and Stephen A. was left standing alone. By the weekend, Stephen A. Smith's reputation had taken one of the biggest hits of his career. Stephen A. Cancelled began trending on X, Twitter, and dozens of viral clips mocked his outburst. Podcasters called it the day Stephen A. met his match. YouTubers began dissecting his words frame by frame. And memes flooded every corner of social media, from ESPN screenshots to fake press releases reading Dawn Staley 1, Stephen A. 0. Meanwhile, Staley remained quiet. Calm. Collected. Her silence spoke louder than any interview ever could. This moment isn't just about two public figures clashing, it's about a shift in power. For years, women in sports have been told to stay humble, don't make noise, don't be political. But Dawn Staley has shattered that glass ceiling, again. Her emotional response reminded the world that speaking truth isn't about ego, it's about purpose. And now, even ESPN can't ignore it. So, Hoop fans, what do you think? Did Stephen A. Smith finally go too far? Or is this just another media storm blowing out of proportion? Let's talk about it in the comments, and don't hold back, because this conversation is one that needs to be heard. Before you head out, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next chapter in this drama is just beginning. This is your home for real basketball stories, unfiltered truth, and the moments that define the game.